Okay, so we're talking about what happens if you inherit a house. Now, this is a complicated topic because there's a lot of legal issues here of when exactly you can sell. So you need an attorney. If an attorney contacts you and says, "Hey, you inherited the house, you weren't expecting it," or a parent dies and you're a child and you know that there's a house that's being bequeathed to you, um, you need to find out legally when you can sell it and how you can sell it. That seems simple, but it's not. The probate process, which is the process of taking the property from the estate. So when someone passes away, the property is owned by an estate, unless it was owned by a separate entity like a trust. But if it wasn't, then someone dies, it becomes part of their estate. You need to go through the probate process so that all the property and assets of that estate gets distributed to the heirs. So if you have multiple siblings or multiple heirs, you need to be in contact with them and understand what they want to do. Sometimes they don't want to sell the property right away. Sometimes they have a number in their mind of what it's worth. It's complicated. We've had many situations where heirs have fought. So, assuming you don't have an issue with the heirs, and assuming you don't have any or don't have any heirs, you need to talk to an attorney about when you're able to sell. So it really depends on who the executor of the estate is and what their powers are. Sometimes there's an administrator of the estate, and we have to go sometimes to surrogate's court to get an administrator's powers increased so that they have the ability to sell a property. It's not so simple. But the question is what you're going to do with it, right? So it really depends on the condition of the house and what's going on in there. So very often the biggest complaint we hear is that they have to clean it out. That there's a lot of crap in there. It's old. So this is a situation where it may make sense if it's really old and there's tons of stuff in there to talk to an investor that's a cash buyer, because we've talked to people who spend upwards of $20,000 or $30,000 just on cleaning out and moving stuff out, and that's nuts, right? That might be the difference between what you can get from a cash buyer and what you can get from a retail buyer. So a cash buyer can take it as is. We'll deal with all the crap that's inside. That's an advantage. Another advantage is time wise. So what we've seen is where there's been multiple heirs. They've listed it on multiple listing service. It's gone into contract, and then 3 months later the buyer falls out because they couldn't get a mortgage, and then all the heirs are pissed off at the executor, pissed off at the administrator, think that they screwed up, think that they made a mistake when they didn't do anything wrong. With a cash buyer, you can say sometimes the heirs really need the money. Sometimes it's desperate. So you can bring it up and say, hey, this is a situation where you can contact us and we'll tell you, listen, if you list it, you can get X. If you sell it to a cash buyer, us or anybody else, you can get less than X. But that difference might be close to the difference in what you're going to pay in taxes over that time. Right? Remember, the state is going to be paying the expenses on that property, or it's going to come out of the proceeds when you sell. So if there are high taxes, if there's large cleanup costs, if there are any kind of liens or tax liens that are accruing interest, or even a loan like a reverse mortgage that's accruing interest, you have to really understand, is it worth it to take a lower price now, right? Close in a week or two, or wait 3, 4, or it could be 6 or 7 months. Do it that the standard process takes. Maybe it's worth it and maybe it's not. That's something you need to really consider. So we're here to help. Again, you don't need to sell your house to us. You don't need to list your house with us. We are a resource for you. You can call us. We'll give you advice without any pressure. We'll combat your property, tell you what we think you can get on the open market, what a cash buyer will pay you for it. We're here to help. And if you have any questions or any advice that's not legal advice, we're happy to help you anytime. The number's below.